Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2022 movie, The Takeover. It's time to recall. Let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. The movie starts and we see a man named Buddy who happens to be a very good hacker and works with the security forces department. They take his services when there is something that needs to be hacked. We see Buddy at the gate of the military headquarters. They have called him in because they have been having issues with their system. Their system keeps getting locked by someone and they are doing it by hacking the whole system. So they have called Buddy to take a look at it. When the time of shutting down the whole system arrives, Buddy goes on to attach the whole system with his laptop, but the system still goes down. Buddy, however, still keeps his laptop attached to it, and after having worked for a while, Buddy goes on to tell them that he has managed to track the location of the man who is hacking their system. They right away go to the hacker named Mel Bandison. She is a young girl of just 16, and Buddy goes on to talk to her. He goes on to ask her why she has been getting involved in these dangerous activities, and she says that she does not like the army because when they are flying the fighter jets, there is a lot of noise and it causes great trouble, especially to SEALs. She says that she is an animal lover, so she wants to protect them. Buddy then goes on to ask her how she managed to hack the system, and she asks him to tell her how on earth he managed to locate her. Then they decide to share their techniques with each other, and the scene then changes to 10 years later. We see that Mel has now grown up, and she has become a very good software engineer, and she works for a company. This company works as a monitor for other software companies. If the other companies need a license as a software company, this is the company that's going to provide that license. Mel's job is to work as an inspector and check if the other company deserves to be licensed. One day she makes her way to a company called Rotramax. This company is planning on bringing a bus that will hit the roads without a driver. They are rather going to be software that is going to control the whole bus in place of the driver. When Mel gets there, she is welcomed by the CEO of that company and then takes a look at the system they have developed. She then goes on to understand that in this system there is a pipeline that belongs to a hacker. She then goes on to understand that this hacker is collecting information from anyone. We learn that the bus has been designed in such a way that whenever you go inside the bus, an AI right away goes on to scan your face. Mel has also gone through the same thing. Mel decides that she is going to stop this hacker right away, or he could inflict damage to anyone. Mel also has to go on a date tonight, so she temporarily puts a stop to that hacker's work. She then makes a stop to the transfer he is making. She then gets out of there, and after a while, when she is on her date, she is not having any fun at all. She decides to leave right away. She then makes her way home and goes on to use her own system she calls Trojan. She uses it to take down the hacker that is hacking the system of Rotramax. Trojan is her own homemade system through which she has the ability to take down any system she wants. We then go on to learn that this is the same system she was using when she took down the military system. When she is done working that night, she goes on to realize that someone is approaching her house. When she goes out to check, she sees 3 gunmen arriving at her door. Seeing this, she right away gets out of there because she wants nothing to do with these men right now. She makes her way to the police station and goes on to tell everything to a Dries police officer there. Dries then goes on to send 2 cops to her house to see what is going on there and tells Mel to stay at the police station for now. This is when Mel notices those 2 gunmen at the police station and they are talking to everyone like they already know them. Mel right away understands that this police station is not safe for her either because she does not even trust these police officers anymore. When she gets out of there, she has no idea where to go. She just decides to go to Thomas. Thomas is the same guy with whom she went on a date earlier. The date was a really bad one, but she still goes to him and tells him what is going on with her. She then requests Thomas to let her stay in his room for a while and he agrees. This is when we see that those 2 gunmen are there and they have tracked her through her phone. These 2 gunmen get there at Thomas's apartment, and the next thing we see, both Mel and Thomas are on the run. Mel starts thinking about what it could possibly be. She then tries to figure out how on earth these people are able to find her wherever she goes. She then realizes that they are using her own phone to track her. She then goes on to break her phone and goes to a diner with Thomas. When she is sitting in the diner, she sees on TV that they are showing that Mel has murdered someone and the murder is of another hacker. There is even CCTV footage that shows everything. This is why police have been following her wherever she goes. She is shocked to see this and has no idea what is actually going on. She is now really scared. Thomas has a restaurant of his own and he takes her there. Both of them decide to hide there. We then go on to see a cop at the police station who is looking into this case. He is the one investigating the murder case. The man is the same guy named Dries, and he thinks that Mel has not killed anyone, but he is the only one who thinks that, but all the others at the police station think Mel is the murderer. Dries then makes his way to the company Rotramax where he meets Lynn. He goes on to ask her about Mel and the software she came to check. Lynn goes on to tell the police officer that the software which they are using in their own company has actually been made by another software company. In the meantime, we see Thomas receiving a call from a man who introduces himself as Roger. The man on the phone goes on to talk to Mel and tells her that because of her software, they are having problems transferring the data. This is the same hacker who was hacking the software of Rotramax, and Mel was looking into it before she got in trouble. The man on the phone then goes on to tell her that if she wants that video where she is shown murdering someone, if she wants this video to be removed from all the places, she is going to have to give up her hacking system through which she hacked their system. Mel right away goes on to say no to this and hangs up in Roger's face. She then goes on to get rid of Thomas's phone as well, and we learn that before she broke her phone, she called all her close ones and told them what was going on with her. These friends are told to learn about this video that is circling around in which Mel can be seen killing someone. They try to talk to Buddy about it, and they also tell Mel that she should go to meet Buddy himself. A friend of hers then goes on to set up a meeting with Buddy, and Thomas steals a bike and takes Mel to the meeting spot. The spot is out in the open in a very secluded area near the forest where they cannot be caught. He meets Mel at the decided spot and goes on to take her to his own safe house where he has set up dozens of computers. We then go on to learn that all that has been going on with Mel and many other people is the plan of a company called Schaumann. They are working on the hacking unit that is used to collect the information of other people in their own system. They decide that they are going to collect as much information as they can, and they plan on selling all this information later. They are able to pull it off with just a face scan. Whenever someone goes to enter the bus, their face is scanned by their AI, and all the information of that scanned person is then taken by this company. It is also revealed that this is the same company from which Rotramax bought the software they used in the bus. Mel then goes on to use Buddy's system and manages to find the real video where she is shown murdering someone. She finds the video in the real form, in which the face is not hers, of course. This is before the hacker edited that video. She can clearly see that the murderer is someone else, and she right away calls Dries to tell him the truth. She goes on to use Buddy's phone to call the police officer, and this is a phone that cannot be tracked. Dries, however, tells her that if she wants to avoid trouble, she should just turn herself in, but he assures her that he is going to help her clear her name. He tells her that her running away from the police is just making things worse for her. Mel, however, still refuses to turn herself in because she does not trust anyone anymore. Roger, however, happens to be a good hacker himself, and he goes on to trace this phone call. He now knows this location. Roger right away gets there and confronts Buddy. He goes on to ask him about Mel, but Buddy of course does not say anything and gets killed. Mel sees this, and she is also about to be killed when she barely manages to take Buddy's car to get out of there. Thomas is now really worried and scared. He thinks that only police can help them now, so he goes on to call Dries right away and tells him everything that just happened. He even tells him about their location, and the next thing we see, Dries is on his way to pick up Mel. When Thomas finally tells Mel that he has called Dries, she gets pissed at him. She still does not trust Dries, and getting in the police custody is the last thing she wants to do. She gets out of there too. Dries gets there and Thomas is captured, but he does not tell them where Mel is. In the next scene, we see Mel running, who needs proof if she wants to prove to the police that she is being framed. She now tries to think about her next step, and that next step comes to her mind. She decides that she is going to get a hold of that face scan and prove to the police that her face was just scanned like that, and this is how she was framed into that video as well. She then realizes that in order to be able to get to that face scanner, she is gonna have to go to Rotramax company. The scene then changes to Lynn, who is having a really busy day because they are going to launch the driverless bus we talked about earlier. Mel gets there and manages to sneak inside the room where all the systems are kept. She looks around and manages to find her own face code as well. She now has enough proof to go to the police and tell them that she is innocent in all this. Roger, however, is aware that Mel is going to get this proof, so he is already there. Roger points his gun at her as he talks to her. He tells her to stop the system that is preventing him from transferring data. Mel then goes on to have a physical fight with Roger and manages to get out of there. Dries also gets to know that Roger and Mel are there at Rotramax, and he goes on to arrest them both right away. The police were also aware that Mel was for sure going to the company from where it all started. However, before getting caught, Roger had destroyed the system in the company by shooting it. In the meantime, the first ride of the driverless bus is going on with some special people on the bus. The bus is going to crash because Roger has destroyed the system. Mel calls Thomas at Dree's request, who wants to save the people on the bus. She tells Thomas that there is a green device in Buddy's car, and he is going to have to plug that green device in the bus so that she gets control over the bus. Thomas does just that, and Mel now has the control of the bus. Mel then goes on to get her system working. She now controls the bus and puts a stop to it after a while. All the passengers in the bus are now safe. Mel has enough proof now to tell the police that she is innocent, and they finally listen to her and she is safe while Roger is arrested. Thomas and Mel are now in a relationship. She gets a text from Buddy that contains a link to a video in which Buddy tells Mel that if it has been 3 days since he has not turned on his system, only then would she be getting this message. He tells her that with all the money that he kept for himself, he actually developed a great network using that money, and he wants Mel to have it. And with that, the movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.